Final Fantasy is known throughout the world for not only great gameplay, but the music. There is not a person listening to this right now who has never heard one of the iconic sounds of the Final Fantasy world. And Final Fantasy XIV has been led for the last few years by the one and only Mr. Soken. If you've never heard of him, he is a legend in this business. I have traveled the world and spoken to composers for some of the top games you have played. All of them want to work with him. And I was so fortunate to actually get to sit down and talk to him, especially as their brand new raid has just launched and it's entirely musically themed. We've got a disco boss, a boss inspired by Parappa the Rapper, and the brutal metal nightmare that is Brute Justice. Not only that, he is a character. And given his really awesome personality and joy of having fun with what he does, I was obviously interested in any secrets he could share, and secrets he shared indeed. And you're all going to find them out during this video. But not only that, think about it. Final Fantasy covers everything from the Wild West all the way to the sci-fi universe to Latin America, and that was just in the latest expansion. And of course, he made Final Fantasy XVI's soundtrack as well. And I was really curious. Two things. Is there a genre he can't do? Maybe the devs want to mess with that. And also, would he remember the first time we made contact? Mr. Soken, finally got to meet you because we've been in the same building several times. Do you remember the first interaction we've ever had?
You know, I'm really bad at remembering faces and names, to be honest with you, and I've only just recently gotten to know Yoshida Naoki.
Really? New? Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Really?
Yeah. He's good for a talk.
Okay, I'll try to remember, yeah.
Well, you might not remember because I didn't look like this. The first time we interacted was on Twitter when you saw me dressed as Honeybee Lovely. And you sent it out to a hell of a lot of people of me dressed in a skirt with a honeybee outfit on because of your song.
I saw that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and I reacted to it.
Yes, you did.
I thought someone's doing it.
Yeah, I failed a goal, and then it was like Soken's like, yes.
で、ソケンさんのいいねが来まして。
いや、面白かったな、あれな、本当。
No, that was really funny.
It was an interesting day, you know.
いや、似合ってたよ。
No, it looked good on you.
Oh yeah, I pulled it off.
いい感じでしたよね。
Yeah, I'm not embarrassed.
いや、恥ずかしいとかそういうのはないです。
What about genres? Because you look at Dawn Trail, Latin America, Wild West, space, and then you just did the new raid, which is disco, into metal, into rap, and then pop more towards the end. How are you still keeping up with all these different genres? And is there any that you wish you could tackle that you've got themes for?
そうね。
So I would actually say I am a music omnivore, if you know what I mean. Like he will eat anything. So I like rock, I like jazz, I like classical as well, and I think that's what's made it possible for me to have all of these borderless genres in 14.
だと思ってます。まずここまで。
And poker?
ね。
But there is actually one genre that I am not very good with.
実はあるんですよ。ね。
Yeah, so actually musical theatre.
Oh.
Like you have all these people who are saying these lines in the script and then suddenly going to sing song. My emotions can't keep up with that.
つかない。
Oh.
But other than that, I'm able to eat anything off of the music plate.
So now we know we need a new raid where the bosses sing vocally and there's an audience that comes in and just to test you, right? We should send that to Yoshida.
そうですね。ってことは次のレイドはこうボスが急に歌い出して観客がこう入ってくるというようなものをこうソケンさんのテストとしてやらなきゃいけないということを吉田さんにも伝えないといけないですね。
いやもうそういうのは勘弁してもらわないかな。
Well, can you please excuse yourself from doing that?
This is your job.
僕ねあと14で取り入れ。
So personally, a genre that I would like to bring into 14 is bossa nova because I haven't done that at all.
So now you see, if you want to troll him, devs, you know very easily what kind of boss you want to design, because it turns out Soken doesn't actually have any influence on what the bosses are. He gets a brief for it. And the day before I went to see him, the new raid came out in the Arcadion, which is so musically influenced. We've got disco, Parappa the Rapper, all kinds of things. So the first questions I had for him was, how did you make it, especially for the rhythm-based fight that is Dancing Green? But we're lucky because we're here. You're doing concerts and it's going well, I assume. But the new raid came out yesterday.
そうなんですよ。
Have you done it already?
やりました。
Oh yeah.
What did you think of it? I think the concept of everything was quite chaotic.
I think you had a lot of fun. That's what I think.
ソケンさんがすごい楽しんでたんじゃないかなって思いま
め
す。
ちゃくちゃ楽しんだよ。
Yeah, I was really having a lot of fun.
You had a lot of fun. The disco green, that's all to the music. So was any of that your idea? Is like, let me do something with a rhythm? Or did they come to you, be like, we have an idea, let's do a rhythm song to go with it?
あそこの一
So actually the people who were working on the first level were people who had mentioned before that they wanted to actually make music games as well.
セクションなんですよ。だから
So this time we actually got those members to come to work on this part, but it's actually quite difficult to match it together.
Yeah.
なんとかね。
Yeah, so I'm kind of trying to make that less obvious, and I'm hoping that the players won't be able to see the rough around the edges.
I didn't at first, so yeah, I think it's working so far. But why disco? Did they come up with disco, or did you go, if we're doing rhythm, disco?
つけてるサングラス、それから着てる。
So having looked at the boss, the disco guy with the sunglasses and the trousers, all of those poses, and also the people who come in between, the afro-haired people. If you look at that and don't choose disco, that would be a sin.
Okay, so they pushed you towards disco.
だっ
Okay.
てさこんなんだぜ、
Yeah.
サングラス。
I mean, the sunglasses are all the way up to here.
Yeah. I was wondering whether, they had a blank canvas and they were like, what do you think? And you're like, oh, disco. And then they built the character after it. Because the next boss, the Sugar Riot, there's a Parappa the Rapper influence. Was that from you as well, or was that them who were exciting it? I'm always curious, how do you arrive at the music? What are they giving you to be like, this is yours, make something?
まずコンセプトとしては、ゲームプランナーが
So yeah, I do get the overall concept from the game planner first about the raid boss, and that is already quite clear when it comes to me. And then I guess I am matching the song to that, and I have the themes there. And I would imagine that I would say that I'm more of a cook. Who is given all these ingredients and making the final dish.
託されてるっていう、なんかそういう感じですかね。だから2層で言うと、
So for tier 2 we have the Larafel boss, and we have the graffiti in the background, and we also saw that the audience is quite hyped up, and in Japan we would say they're kind of the Shibuya genre of things, and so I would understand that kind of concept is given to me first, and then I have to take that forward and think, what does Shibuya as a genre actually mean? And that's the role of me as a cook.
こっち側で料理しなきゃいけない。
But after those two, then came Brute Bomber 2, which is one of the most blasting metal tracks you've ever heard in your life. Guess who does the backing vocals? Okay, I mean, if we go to only one more boss to talk about is the third one, which you just went hardcore metal to the death. Poor Koji, I think his voice is destroyed, but was that that felt like the most fun one you worked on? Like that was more primals than anything else that was in there.
なるほど。 あれそれで
Actually, with that one, I'd say there is a chance that it's actually Naoki Yoshida who is having the most fun.
性があります。なんでかっていうと、
Reason being,
彼も、叫んでいます。
he is also screaming.
よく、どこを叫んでるか今度レイド行って確認してみてください。
Please take a good listen in the raid where he is screaming.
Everybody is going to be doing that now.
もうみんな一斉にやると思います。
これまでそういえば言ってなかったね。まあいいか。まあいいや、どうせバレるし。
Yeah, I guess I hadn't mentioned it before, but it's all going to come up in the open at some point, so I think it's okay for me to say it.
Oh, yeah. Yet despite what Soken says here, he then went on to mention that on occasion, he does have some creative input and you'll never guess which fight it is. I did want to... One of the things that really curious to me is you have this really important job about conveying the tempo of big, giant, epic boss fights that might have emotional moments, storytelling, certainly in an ultimate that goes really long. Do you have to play the fight to understand that cadence? Or do they say, we kind of expect a really heavy moment here, we want it to be a bit faster, and then you need to bring the player down, because everybody plays with the music on in Final Fantasy, which is testament to you. And I'm wondering how much control you have over that. Is it something you go in, you play it, and you're like, oh, we need a break here. And now we can, so a door boss or whatever, some new giant monsters appeared, and like, now we're going big and big. That's the how are you controlling that throughout the fights?
そこはね、そうだね。うち
Yeah, so that is something that me as with the sound team decides sometimes, but it's also something that the battle team also comes in with their opinions.
くれることもあるんです。サベッジの方なんだけど、うまく。
So an example I can give is Shinryu. So in that battle, it's actually the savage of this. Sorry, the extreme of it. But what happens is at the point of the chorus, you have to go onto the Shinryu's tail and back and run across it. Yeah, and so this is something that we had to really consider the time sequence of this. And in this case, actually, the battle team matched what was in the song.
感じですかね。
So there you have it, Yoshida dropping bombs in your ears every time you're going to be progressing there. What a great reveal, and there's still more to come. Because I loved these bosses. I didn't do a whole video on them, and the fourth one was one of the weakest. I think it's Savage, it's going to be great, which is happening literally right now as I talk to you guys. But one thing I got out of this interview is that Soken's not a huge gamer, he's a musician. He tells stories via his compositions. The emotionality that we get out of all of them is phenomenal. But I did wonder, are there any games that do inspire him even to this day? And it turns out there is. Yeah. And I'm wondering, do you still draw inspiration from any other video game that you go, they nailed it? Like personally, like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is one of my favorite soundtracks for the same reasons you talked about Shinryu. It had to line up with these mega moments. But you've been doing this for a long time now, since Drakengard and all those old games. So where are you still getting inspiration from? Is it purely musical inspiration and not video game inspiration?
普段、僕が
I do think that it is easier for me to gain inspiration from standard normal music that is out in the public.
やっぱりただ
But of course, the game experience is very important, so I do gain inspiration from game songs because we are in the same position, and the impact that you get from game music is something that is a completely different kind of effect that I have from standard normal
一
music.
般の音楽
Any favorites?
お気に入りはありますか？
まあクレイジータクシーかな。
Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi.
Good choice. Okay. Yeah, a lot of pop songs in that one that work very, very well. Which is
やっぱね、
Yeah, I mean, for Crazy Taxi, at that moment where you're saying, okay, let's play the game, you need All I Want from Spring to come on. You can't get anything else from that.
yeah.
switch on and have a controller. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
If you'd have told me I would sing a bit of Offspring with Soken, I wouldn't have believed you, but there it was. And it actually got a little more interesting from there. See, Soken is obviously known for Final Fantasy XIV, but he also created the original soundtrack for Final Fantasy XVI, and that game won tons of awards, including Best Original Song and Score. And it was interesting to find out that, in fact, the creative vision of the composer can be often at odds. And he had a lengthy instruction from Naoki Yoshida, who was in charge of FF16, about how a song was supposed to go for one of the fights. And in fact, you're going to see that our good editor, Mr. Chris, located exactly what Yoshida was looking for. But here's the thing, Soken was like, nah, that's not the right vibe, and actually went a different way. Check this out, it's really interesting. Yeah, I imagine you have a lot of songs in your head with nowhere to apply them. Did FF16 give you some more opportunity to try that stuff out?
そうだね、ただ16
Oh
は
yeah, actually for 16 there was quite a strict order of this is the kind of music that we want. So that's not to say I haven't put my spirit into it, of course I have, but in terms of limited to genre, whether I was able to explore those, I would say I didn't have as much
そこま
freedom.
でなんか自由奔放にはやってないかもです。
But there is actually one bit that I didn't listen to the order that was given to me. For 16 it was all order from Yoshida-san himself.
Oh.
And I think for Titan in 16, I think he really wanted something that was giving Evangelion. So the order was classical.
Oh.
And then, so I was trying to write a classical song to this, but I had seen the pictures for this and also was able to play a little bit at that point. And I was thinking, no, this is not really a classical song.
It's so brutal.
It must be rock.
Yeah.
So I completely ignored the order and came up with a rock song just all my own and then put it in.
And you liked it.
You like? 周りの
And then all of the development team members were like, this is what we were waiting for.
This is why I make the music, right? So you say, not you.
だからソケンさんが、音楽を作っている人なんですよね。
まあそうだね。
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I know you guys just probably want more from Soken. He's amazing, a legend, and I'm so thankful that Squeenix gave me that time. And we're going to have the full unedited interview over on our TDP channel if you want to sit down and listen to it, especially with the Japanese in there as well, so you can pick up on all those things. But if you've never heard of him and this is like a new person, trust me, the way he tells a story through his music has brought millions of people to tears. It has made them laugh. It has made them smile. It has made them do all kinds of crazy things. So we decided here just to give you a few highlights of some of his exceptional works that have brought FF14 to be one of the only MMOs in the world where people don't mute the audio after a while and actually will play hundreds of hours of progress raids while still listening to the soundtracks he's created. It's been an amazing thing, and I hope you enjoy this.
And how I started